So I thought I'd have a biplane, well, multiplane anyway, because I've got one triplane morning today. So we've got all multi-wing planes today, and I thought we'd start with this guy, the little hobby people Micro Tiger Moth, and he really is a micro plane. Comes with his own little toy grade transmitter tucked in there, and we'll get him set up and have a little flight with him. I haven't had him out for a while. Needs almost no wind, of course, this guy, or indoor flyer. Okay, so now I've got a battery hooked up into this guy, and I've got his transmitter going. Oh, he's buzzing merrily. Quite. Oh, there we go. Didn't like sitting like that. Now I've got a much bigger. Famous last words, or maybe the battery just came unconnected. He uses like actuators. See, he doesn't even have servos. He has no servos at all. He has these two little magnetic actuators on the tail, which do tend to buzz rather, which give him, which operate his tail, his rudder and his elevators, 3-channel, and a tiny little motor. Now, I've got that 200 milliamp hour battery. See, the problem is you need a battery that has a wire and a tail. It's a micro connector, standard micro connector, the same as in, you know, the little Sport Cup, all those little one-cell UMX things from E-flite, though this is not E-flite, this is Hobby People. But you can't really use those standard stick batteries because they have the connector on the end of the battery. And if you did that, the battery would be sticking right down from the guy, and that just wouldn't work. So you need something. He came with a minute battery, I think a 35 milliamp hour battery, which I'd be quite happy to use, except that it's dead now. It doesn't work anymore. Okay, let's try. No. I instinctively try to use both sticks. I'm afraid I'm not very good at it, but he doesn't. The left stick here does not move sideways. He's got rudder and elevators, and they're both on the right stick. Now, as I say, so with that battery is like whatever, umpteen times the capacity of the original battery, and umpteen times the weight, but he doesn't seem to mind it. I mean, he seems to fly. Honestly, I've got him, it's on pretty much on the center of gravity, so it's not really shifting the center of gravity. It's kind of under the wings there where I've got that battery. But he doesn't particularly seem to mind the extra weight. I mean, he's not going to do much. He's just a potterer, but he's a pretty little plane. He's a Tiger Moth. Don't think there's any way he's going to loop. Is he? No. No, he isn't. He just doesn't have enough power. I didn't think he never has looped. So all you're going to do with him is fly in horizontal patterns, basically. He never did. He's got a very small motor and, just as I say, 2 magnetic actuators on the tail for control. And, well, today I don't think that's the moon up there. Today, it's very early still, a little before sunrise. Well, almost sunrise. Sun's just about to come up, a little bit of ground mist. I don't imagine, I'm not going to fly him till the battery cuts out today, because that's a 200 milliamp hour battery, so that should last for longer than I really want to fly him now. On his original battery, which was only 35 milliamp hours, he got like about a 4 or 5 minute flight, and he didn't give you any warning. His motor just cut out dead when the battery went below a certain point. Which, you know, with this guy, it's not so much of a problem, because you're presumably not going to take him anywhere far away from you. You're only going to fly him in your yard or indoors or whatever. And when the motor cuts out, he just glides to the ground. He doesn't crash. So it wasn't really a problem. But that's what he does. When the battery goes below the point where he feels he's got enough power, the motor just stops dead. And as I say, that would happen after about 4 minutes maybe or so with the original battery, for maybe 5, depending how high a throttle you were flying him with. This is really all you're going to do, is fly him round in, as I say, in horizontal patterns. Fly him round one way, we can fly him round the other way, but that's about it. But he is pretty. And although he's extremely delicate, I've attempted to take care of him, tucking him away in his box every time I finish with him, and, being delicate with him. And I've had him for a few years now, and he's still flying. I don't know whether I want to risk flying him indoors, because, what I'm worried about flying him indoors is other people crashing into him. If somebody else crashes into him, he wouldn't stand up at all. He's very delicate. I can look after him, but if I'm flying him with other people... I had him out, I think I have flown him indoors at the, the community centre, the communal winter flying things once. I had him out briefly, but just after I bought him. In fact, I bought him in the winter, I think. But mostly he's flown out at the field. They call him a front yard flyer, and you probably, if you've got a reasonable sized front yard, you could indeed fly him in your front yard. You wouldn't fly him in your living room. He needs more room than that. Certainly flying him in a gym, though. And I have a certain affection for him, even though he doesn't do much. Deliberately trying to fly him straight at me here, just to get a sort of a pass. Okay, well, I think that's really all we're going to do with him, so we might as well bring him in, as I say. So we'll just cut the motor, and see, and that's what happens. When you cut the motor, he just goes down. He glides in fine. Ah! Oh, he does not have throttle cut, but you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to hurt yourself on that little propeller. They actually give you a spare propeller with him when you buy him, although I wouldn't have thought the likelihood of you breaking the propeller was that great, because he doesn't go very fast. But I suppose if you whacked a metal post or something like that, you might. So there you are. The little hobby people Tiger Moth front yard flyer. Well, I'm not having the best morning so far. Well, the little hobby people thing flew fine, but the Nieuport over there I couldn't get to fly. I don't know whether the battery was too weak or that little scale motor was fouling or something, but he just couldn't get enough power to fly, and I tried to hand launch him and his tail broke, so now I've got to try and repair him, and I think I might just remove that scale motor entirely on him, because it's all very well and good and pretty, but it's a darn nuisance. This guy, I don't know either. This is the GWS, what they call the 3D Tiger Moth. It's 3D as opposed to the other one, in as much as it's got ailerons and the other one's only 3-channel. I don't know what you'd have had to put in as a power system to make it any kind of 3D flyer. I don't know. I'm not honestly super confident of getting the thing to fly well at all today, especially since, I don't know, I seem to have been having problems with a number of things recently. Some of my batteries are getting old, for one thing, which I'm sure doesn't help. This is one of those little 1.1 mile Scorpions, and I had 3 of those, but they're getting to the point where maybe it's about time to retire them. But I don't really want to put anything heavier in him. This I bought as, like a kit in a flat box, ARF, built it, and added the various odds and ends. Did include the propeller, if I remember rightly, but didn't include it. I don't think it included the propeller, but didn't include any motor. It was intended originally for a brushed system. It's old enough that it was intended for a brushed system and a NIM-H battery. They recommended some particular GWS power pack. I don't know whether this will go. Again, he's gone over the grass before, but yeah, he does sort of. Well, he staggered into the air, but then didn't. Yeah, see, he staggered into the air, but didn't stay in the air. He really didn't have enough power. I don't know. Just don't seem to be able to get anything to fly these these days. As I say, I suspect age of batteries is a significant factor. Way around do we go in? We want the red wire on the right. Alright, well, let's see if he does any better with this battery. It's going to shut up because it's not wet in the morning. It's not raining or anything, but it's just there's a lot of humidity around. Oh, and the sun's coming up now, which is pros and cons. You've got to watch it. You're going to not watch it. It's the point not look at it. Because I crashed a plane the other day because I looked right at the sun and blinded myself. Okay. Is this any better or worse? More power, more weight. Well, definitely more power. You can certainly feel that there's a lot more power. Well, I say a lot more power. Relatively, I mean, it's more. It's not a lot of power, but it's more power than he had with the other battery. He wants to go up all the time for some reason, doesn't he, as well? Oh, not over by the sun there. He really does want to go up all the time. Can we have some compromise between going up all the time? I don't know. Maybe this battery's making him tail heavy, although I wouldn't have thought it was particularly behind the center of gravity. But yeah, he seems to be tail heavy, so I guess the battery's a bit heavy. It's a hair behind the center of gravity, so he's a bit tail heavy, which is kind of annoying because tail heavy planes always fly very badly. It's the old story. I think that nose heavy planes fly badly, tail heavy planes fly once. Really tail heavy planes you just can't fly at all. And this guy is definitely tail heavy with that battery, unfortunately, which surprises me because I wouldn't have thought it was particularly behind the center of gravity, but it obviously must be because he wasn't tail heavy before, but he certainly is now. Okay, well, we better bring him in because he isn't flying worth a damn like this. It's nasty. He's not going to be easy to land being tail heavy like this either. Tail heavy planes are a bugger to fly. Oops. Oddly enough, he came in nose down to swim in tail heavy, but it was just hard to control him. Oh dear. See, you wouldn't have thought that battery was behind the center of gravity, would you, really? But I can't put it any further forward, I don't think. Well, I can put it in cockeyed a bit, whether that helps. The only way I can put it further forward, because there's those struts there, or flanges or whatever you call them, serving as struts. The only way I can put the battery further forward is to put it in a bit cockeyed. We flew for about 3 minutes there. No, 2 minutes.
Throttle cut off.
Let's see if he's any better like that. No, not much really. He's still still seems to be tail heavy, which seems weird to me. I wouldn't have thought he should be, but he does seem to be. Yeah, he's still behaving as if he's tail heavy. Oh God, I was going to say try and put some elevator trim in, but as soon as I let go of the stick, he just goes up ridiculously. So I can't really trim him because... Okay. I put some down elevator. I managed to get some down elevator trim in.
Time remaining 5 minutes.
That's down elevator trim I'm putting in. Well, that definitely helps. And more. Putting a whole bunch of down elevator trim in to try and stop him nosing up all the time. Oh, I might have overdone it now. It does not fly well, this, and I don't think it ever did. And I mean, the extra weight of this battery is, I'm sure, not helping. The extra power is all very well and good, but the extra weight isn't helping. And I don't think the power is holding up too well now. The bit's starting to weaken. So we should probably bring him in.
4 minutes.
We should probably bring him in then. No real wind, so it doesn't matter very much which way we land. Can't seem to get his nose up enough to land, interestingly. Well, because I've got a lot of down elevator trim on now.
Throttle cut on.
I couldn't get his nose up enough. I tried there, but I couldn't get his nose up enough to make him land properly. Well, although honestly, the elevators don't look down, do they, really? No, they don't. Maybe they had up elevator trim in before, I don't know. Well, he don't fly very well, but he sort of flies. And that's about all he ever did. I mean, he might have flown with a lighter battery and whatever. He might have flown a hair better than that. I certainly could land him without tipping him over sometimes. But I know he never did. He potters round, but he never did. Suffering from the water here as well. Anyway, such as it is, that's the GWS 3D Moth. Okay, now this guy is another GWS Tiger Moth, but I didn't build this one. It was a kit, it was sold as a kit, but I bought it already assembled from Flightcraft up in Kitchener. And somewhat faded. The fading was mostly before I even got it. It was assembled. It still had an FM receiver in it when I got it, but it had already been converted to LiPo power, and this is the battery that came with it. And basically I have continued to fly it with this same battery that came with it. It came with it when I bought it. Famous last words. Now I changed the receiver because I wanted to convert it to Spectrum. It had an FM receiver in it when I bought it, and it's just 3-channel. That's mid-rate.
High rate.
Oh, we'll leave it on mid-rate. Kim's got his little pilot in him, so he's not being flown without a pilot. The one and only time I broke this, famous last words, touch wood, let's hope, but the only time I've broken him in the past, I've flown him quite a few times, was when I tried to fly him with a flight camera on. He wouldn't stand for that. He's too... I broke the top wing in half, like that. When I tried to fly him, I tried to put the little EFC 721 on camera on him, but even though that's very light, he can't carry extra weight. He's not got much power, and he can't carry extra weight. I don't know whether he shouldn't need the runner. I put the runner out to try and get the Nieuport to work, but
Throttle cut off.
although he is rubbing on the grass pretty much. But, you know, he gets up pretty well. He is basically rubbing along the grass when you try and take him off the grass, but once he doesn't need a lot of speed under those wings to get him up. We'll keep him well away from the blithering sun. Although, mind you, I mean, he's he's the sort of plane that if you cut the power, he would probably just glide down. He shouldn't do anything too nasty. This is from GWS, was it, Grand Wing Systems, who used to make a lot of kits and stuff and parts. I don't know whether, I think they're sort of still in business. You don't see their planes anymore, but I've seen their propellers and things for sale fairly recently. This was called the GWS Pico Tiger Moth.
Time remaining 5 minutes.
I have the 3D one also. Now, they did make a bigger one. They made one, I think it was called the GWS 400 Tiger Moth or something, that had a more like a, 3 or 4 foot wingspan. It was a little bit bigger, and I would have loved to have got one of those, but they're kind of rare. So I bought this guy already built with an FM receiver in as a consignment sale at Flightcraft in Kitchener, and the other one I bought also in Kitchener, but as a kit from the Spitfire Emporium. He really has, even with that battery, he has like very little power. It's a brushed motor. He's a slow flyer. Always meant to be. Again, I don't think I'd risk him indoors because of the hazards of indoor flying with a bunch of people and whatever. And even the walls. I mean, I don't want to whack him into the walls, but he's certain. I mean, you could really, as long as there was no interference, you could fly him in a gym or whatever. He's a slow flyer. And he's a pretty little plane. Doesn't do anything much, but he's another one that doesn't do anything much, but he's a pretty plane. He just sort of cruises round, nice and slow. Got nice lift from those wings. No ailerons, but the wings seem to give him nice lift. As you saw, he took off very quickly, very slow speed. Flies slow, takes off slow. Fair enough, so let's see if we can manage to bring him in for a nice landing. It ought to be possible with him to bring him in for a nice landing. I mean, well, I don't know. He might still have a bit of a tendency to turn over on the grass, but we'll see if we can. No, I tried to flare him there, but didn't get him up enough then.
Throttle cut on.
I wonder if I can try once more to take him up and down. It would just be so nice to actually get a decent landing.
Throttle cut on.
He's not got much power left now. He really does not have much power left now. I just wanted to see if I could actually persuade something to land without turning over. No. Flared too soon. Flared too soon and then popped down again. I don't think we can try anymore. I flared too soon, and he just went back up again, and then he went down and fell over. Ah, well. It is possible, but I didn't manage to do it today. It's not easy to get a decent landing on the grass without him tipping over, because he's rather prone to tipping over on the grass, but it is possible. Does not have a prop saver on this guy. One thing I did add, of course. God. That seems prone to vibrating rather if you spin it up, because I'm not spinning it up all the way much. Oh well, it's geared, so that probably doesn't help. It's a geared power arrangement. It's not great. I think it came with the plane. The battery didn't, I'm sure, because it's before the era of lipos, this kit. But the power system, I think, is what came with the plane, and it's a geared, brushed power system, and it's a bit on the ropey side now. But I hesitate to, you can see the gearing there and whatever. I hesitate to muck around trying to replace it, although if I want to keep the guy flying, I may have to, eventually. At the moment, The only thing I've changed is to put this extra reinforcement on the landing gear to hold it a bit, because otherwise it just tended to splay completely. But that's about the only thing I've changed. And the receiver, and put a Spectrum receiver in place of the FM receiver. But otherwise he's the way I bought him. But I don't know how much longer he's going to keep flying like that, because that power system seems to be getting a bit iffy now, that geared arrangement. So last and not entirely least, since the Hobby People Tiger Moth is even smaller than this guy, we have the Fokker Dr-1, Micro Fokker Dr-1 from Flyzone. Now this guy is a Flyzone plane, sold transmitter ready, so he has an SLT receiver in him, so we're going to use the AnyLink on the back. Oh, got to select the right model first though. Sorry, I did not select the right model. We're still on the Tiger Moth there. And this is the Fokker Dr-1. There he is, yes. Now we turn the transmitter off, which always seems unnatural to me, but anyway we do. And then we plug the AnyLink on and it comes back on again. There we go. And it should be up in whatchamacallem, in SLT mode now. Now we have to try and put a battery in this guy, which is somewhat fiddly. It's just your standard little stick battery. Putting it in is easier said than done. Hopefully that'll hold. And I've got some lead tape there because I found this guy just went right up and tried to hover on his propeller pretty much when I got him. He did not like staying down at all. He just wanted to go right up. So I put a little bit of lead tape there on the front to try and moderate his tendencies. From what I remember, he's still pretty prone to wandering up.
Throttle cut off. High rates.
Okay. I think you have to go all the way. Yes, you have to go all the way up. And then to the bottom again to arm the ASC on these Flyzone ones. Let's see if he flies. Whoa. Well, yes. Try not to fly him into the weeds would help, but he's not very easy to control. And of course he's tangled himself into the weeds now. You can be pretty sure that any plane will do that. I don't know, there's obviously a bit of a repair there, but I don't know if that's even mine. No, he does tend to wander off to the right, and he's still insanely tail heavy, frankly. Yeah, he's a bit of a bugger to fly. He has a tendency to fall off to the right, and he's really tail heavy, even with that lead tape on. I don't know whether I could have put that battery further forward. I did put it somewhat forward, right? I put it so it wasn't all the way down in the compartment, so it was sticking out the front of it. But I mean, he still just wants to tip his nose up all the time. I've got like full down elevator on now, basically. I'm basically flying him with full down elevator all the time. Maybe I had the battery further forward before, though he always did have a tendency just to wander up all the time, I know. He's a pig. Pretty little thing, but a kind of a pig to fly. Here's another one you could fly indoors, although again, seems to be running out of power now as well. Yep. We don't want to hit the steel fences.
Throttle cut on.
Okay. So we were running out of power there. I think I might try one more time with another battery, see if he does any better with another battery, and if we can contrive to put the battery further forward. Ooh. I did buy some new one-cell batteries, but didn't bring the new ones out today. I bought a 5-pack of 180 milliamp hour one cells in anticipation of doing some indoor flying in the winter, because I'm afraid winter's coming, as they say in that TV show, which I don't watch really. But anyway, I don't know. So given which of these batteries might, I have no idea really. That one doesn't look great, but I think that one's not bad. Who knows? Oh yeah. Who knows which of these batteries is going to be better? They're all a bit on the old side. Okay. Well, see, there's a limit to how far forward I can put the thing. I mean, it's got to stick on the Velcro. No, well, I can't put it in the other way around. So, if I had a rubber band, I could maybe put it further forward if I could hold it on with a rubber band. But oh, his wing's broken, so maybe we shouldn't fly him again. Okay. Sorry.